Hey, what is up guys, it is Slickmuff here, back again with another video. In this one we will be talking about the new Batman Arkham game and whether we want to see a Batman Beyond-esque game or a direct sequel to Batman Arkham Origins. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I've been setting the like goal at 1,500. That's way too low for you guys. Let's try to get this video to 2,000 likes. That would be great. It really helps people, other passionate Batman fans, find the video. So that would be absolutely great. 2,000 likes. I would really appreciate it. Let's get into the video topic for today, because I did a poll yesterday talking about which game we would like to see. So this is not a matter of if I'm placing a bet, which am I going to bet on us getting? No, it's which one would you want? In other words, if you had the choice, which game would we get? And I'll reveal which one I voted for. I can't vote in my own poll, but I'll reveal which one I would have voted for, and then I will show you the results of the fans. And the fan result is 65% in favor of Batman Beyond Arkham and 35% in favor of Batman Arkham Origins 2. In other words, a 2-to-1 favorite, Batman Beyond Arkham to Batman Arkham Origins 2. Now, this is very interesting, and I'm not accusing anybody of being a hypocrite here, so hear me out. But here's what I would think from WB Games Montreal's perspective, if I'm working at WB Games Montreal. If you recall, a couple years ago, I've been an Arkham YouTuber for a couple years now, and there were some leaks regarding what this new Batman game was, and that it was going to be starring Damian Wayne. And we know now that that game was canceled, but there was some Batman Beyond-esque elements to the game, in the sense that it was starring a non-Bruce Wayne Batman, in this case Damian Wayne. It had some more obscure villains and some Batman Beyond-esque features, definitely. It wasn't a Batman Beyond game per se, I don't think, but that was kind of the conception, is that there was some features of Batman Beyond in that game. And at the time, people were very negative towards it. People were saying, you know, they should have just made a direct sequel to Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins is really underrated. Why are you messing around with this futuristic stuff? We don't care about any Batman that's not Bruce Wayne, etc., etc., etc. Now, there was a small minority of people that said, I would be okay with this if it was Terry McGinnis instead of Damian. But I think the vast majority of people were talking, you know, high praises of Arkham Origins and saying that they should just do a sequel to that. But of course, we know and we've heard a lot that the game's been canceled, or at least kind of rebooted into a different Batman game. And since then, the narrative has kind of shifted, and now you can see 2-to-1 fans are saying, I want a Batman Beyond game. But once again, as I mentioned a couple years ago, it seemed like it was very different. People really wanted Batman Arkham Origins 2. So this is kind of, you don't know what you've got until it's gone kind of thing, where you miss what you can't have, or something to that effect. I don't exactly know what it is, but it's very, very interesting. And it is important to note that a Batman Beyond Arkham game would probably star Terry McGinnis, which is a huge turn-on for a lot of people, which is what people really want from the game. Damian is a character that's very controversial, very unlikable, or hard to like, I would say, much more so than Terry McGinnis or Bruce Wayne. So that's part of the question. But I just think it's very interesting, because it seems as though the community's changed a lot, where at first we were saying, we just want Batman Arkham Origins 2, why are you messing around with this weird Damian and futuristic stuff and female Black Mask, like this is really weird. And now that it seems like we're getting more of an Arkham Origins direct sequel, people are a little bit more in favor of the Batman Beyond idea. So very, very interesting stuff. But as I said, not accusing anybody of being contradictory. It's just something that I kind of noticed that I thought was interesting. So let's get into some of the fan responses. And as I mentioned, Batman Beyond Arkham got a huge majority of the poll results. So let's read a couple comments. Angel Slickmuff, who's one of the best fans of the channel that I have. As you can see, he has my name in his title. And he's a great fan. But anyway, Batman Arkham Beyond would be very, very cool. But I don't think that they're going to risk a lot. However, Batman Arkham Origins 2 is the one that we all dream about. So both. And that's an interesting idea, seeing both games. But it really is something that I would be happy with both. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And I think, rather see Batman Arkham Origins 2. One thing that I like about the Batman Beyond Arkham idea is that they can do a lot of really new, interesting, exciting things that we've never seen before. What I think I don't like about it so much is that I don't really feel that they'll be able to weave it into the Arkhamverse very well. Okay? So I think that it would have to be so far distant in the future. There's no precedent for Terry McGinnis, and that's one of the things that I thought was weird about the Damian Wayne game. And a lot of people didn't believe the leaks, because there was no precedent for Damian. There is a little reference in Arkham City that Talia and Bruce had a sexual encounter at some point several years ago, but that was the only allusion to Damian at all. There's no reference of him in the games. The word Damian, I don't know if it's said a single time in the entire Batman Arkham games, and as such, a Damian Wayne Batman Arkham game is kind of unprecedented and a little bit odd, right? Which is, I think, what a lot of people were getting at. But you can't say that a Damian Arkham game is odd, but a Terry McGinnis Arkham game is completely, normal. For the same reason that I just mentioned, is that there's no precedent for the character in the Batman Arkham games at all. Granted, Batman Beyond takes place like 100 years into the future. So, in that sense, there doesn't necessarily need to be. But at the same point, you're going to have Bruce Wayne in the game, you're going to have all these things, and it would have made sense for them to have some precedent. Now, a Batman Beyond Arkham game with Dick Grayson as Batman, that's a whole different story. But, we can't kind of pick and choose. Like, both Terry McGinnis and Damian are really unprecedented for the Batman Arkham games. But anyway, Tyra says, I like the Batman Beyond Arkham title, but I don't want Batman Beyond. Okay, that's fair. Agent X, a sequel to Arkham Knight would ruin the game's ending. There's still a lot that happened between Arkham Origins and Asylum that I'd like to explore. That's something that I definitely agree with, because think about all the villains that we haven't had a true backstory with. Two-Face, we've never seen his true origin in the Batman Arkham games. Penguin, not really. Hush, we did see, so Hush is an exception. And Hush would be very, very difficult to do in the new Batman Arkham game. Just because his first time being Hush was in Arkham Knight. In Arkham City, he was becoming the Hush. So he's kind of out of the discussion, right? But, sorry for all these notifications. So there's that, question as well. But a lot of the other villains we haven't really seen, the Joker, we did get to see his first encounter, but all these other villains, Two-Face, Penguin, Professor Pig, we did manage to see his first time. Victor Zsasz, we didn't get to see his first time being a criminal. All of these questions I think would be really, really cool and interesting to explore. Caleb says, like many other people have said, both games sound awesome, but knowing how Arkham Knight ended, I'm really curious to see how WB Montreal and whoever else is helping them can take the future of the series. I also feel like a Batman Beyond Arkham game wouldn't be as tied down to lore continuity. That's a very interesting comment, and I would love to interview a Batman Arkham Origins developer and ask them to what extent they felt binded by the canon. In other words, did they feel like they couldn't do anything? They had to really just confined to what they wanted to do, because then you can't really tell the story you want to tell. You're playing a logistical game of not stepping on Rocksteady's toes, which isn't that fun. It's not that interesting for the fans or the studio, and in some ways it's obvious that they took their own liberties, but in other ways they tried to be, faithful to the Arkham canon. At the same time, though, if you're working in the Arkham universe and you have a game that is completely unrelated to the other Batman Arkham games, you kind of struggle to even label it a Batman Arkham game. You know what I mean? There has to be some root there. So I think that that's an interesting, discussion. James Slade mentioned something that's a huge pro for a Batman Arkham Origins 2. How about a long Halloween story? Alfred mentioned it in Arkham Knight. They can put Court of Owls behind it all or something. Very great idea. I mean, that's exactly where I would take the game if I were sort of in charge of it, I think, is going that direction to a long Halloween, incorporating the Court of Owls, which is what W Montreal, seemingly wants to do. And, I think that that's all very interesting. Spider-Man says both. I like that. James Carpenter, I think now that I think about it, I'd prefer a sequel to Origins, as I believe Rocksteady should be the ones to work on the aftermath of Arkham Knight. So, James, we know that Rocksteady's done with the Batman Arkham games. They made their trilogy, and that's kind of it. Now, that brings up an interesting question, is that WB Games Montreal could make their own trilogy. And I would really love to see that, a Batman Arkham Origins 2 and 3. You can call it something else, but just to have your own trilogy where this first game is everyone trying to kill Batman. The second one, a murder mystery, long Halloween type thing, wherever they want to take it. But just having their own unique trilogy taking place in the Batman Arkham games and being canon, but also taking their own liberties with the character, I think would be really, really interesting. So, would love to see a Batman Beyond game in a universe, I assume, with a older Bruce guiding him. So that's definitely a Batman Beyond vote there. Harley says, that's a tough decision. I think first we should get a Court of Owls game, then a Batman Arkham Beyond. So honestly, I want both. Evan says, why would I want a Batman Beyond game? Because Batman Beyond's cool. I don't know. Chris says, Arkham Beyond is what I've been hoping for, but I could imagine a pretty dope Battle for the Cowl game. So Battle for the Cowl, Long Halloween are stories that I've seen a lot, and they work very well in this time period because Battle for the Cowl, not so much, it's a little bit later in Batman's career, but Long Halloween is right in this era of where Arkham Origins 2 would be in his career, a couple years in, but not too far. So Long Halloween would be a great option for them. Doing a detective murder mystery type game with the Court of Owls, I think would be very, very interesting. Zeitz, like to see Batman Beyond game that has absolutely nothing to do with the Arkhamverse. To see a Batman game that has nothing to do with the Arkhamverse. That is a whole nother discussion. So if you're talking about rebooting the Batman Arkham games, not something I support, but I respect your opinion. Martin says, I'm sorry, but F Batman Beyond. See, if it's not a Batman with a cape, it's a shitty Batman. Batman would be good at a later point, not right now. Interesting. Okay, I'm not really following your argument there, but that's fine. You know, Batman Beyond is a whole different take on the character. Beyond is that a lot of people are saying that they want, you know, a Batman game either way, and that they're excited for both games. And, you know, you'll see a couple people saying they're tired of Batman games or whatever, but large in part, you're seeing people that are very positive about WB Games Montreal, the prospects of getting a new Batman Arkham game. This is exactly what I was saying, Victor, with their own trilogy. Yep, absolutely, Evan. So everyone's on the same page here with WB Games Montreal making their own Batman trilogy. I think that would be a great idea, and that would not involve Batman Beyond Arkham. And for that reason, I am really in favor of a Batman Arkham Origins sequel where we get our own trilogy. And from WB Games Montreal, incorporating the origins of all these villains. We get to see some Bruce Wayne action, you know, really get to follow his life. And his early life would be very interesting to me. So I would love that. So my final verdict is I would prefer to see a Batman Arkham Origins 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But of course, any Batman game I'm taking at this point. But I would really prefer it to star Bruce Wayne, but that's just me personally. Let me know what you guys thought about this video in the comment section below. My name is Slickmoth, and I'll see you guys in the next one.